Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests. We welcome you to the November 5th meeting. We're the Rotary Club of Gainesville. We're so glad to have each and every one of you here with us. At this time, guests and visiting Rotarians, if you're joining us virtually on Zoom, please identify yourself in the chat. And if you're watching on YouTube, please register your participation by sending an email to info@rotarygainesville.org. Pete, I hear you're back with us. Okay, come on.
Thank you so much. It's good to be back. I just want to share with you that my dog has become obsessed with chasing people on bikes. And it bothers me, but I'm really quite impressed that he learned how to ride a bike. Aren't you glad I was gone? We're going to sing God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Oh gosh. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pete, I bet your dog could have given the invocation if he can ride a bike. Laurie, will you please bless us with the invocation?
Well, it's good to be back. Good to see you all again. We've been on the road for a while. Let's pray together. Thank you, Father, for giving us the wisdom of the ages, directing us to be those who pray for those in positions of leadership. And as we begin to approach election time, we ask for guidance for our leaders, to be guided by wisdom from above, to lead us to do what is true and right as individuals and as corporate entities as well, like Rotary. We ask for that wisdom in these challenging times we face, to be careful, to devote ourselves to doing what is good, those things that are excellent and profitable for everyone, and keep us wrestling to understand the guidance of our Rotary founders, exhorting us to continually be asking the question, is it the truth? We ask for continual blessings also as we gather today upon our biggest and baddest event of the year, the Wild Game Feast. And through this event, we ask you to use it to bless our community with help in projects that meet real needs around us, like we are called to pray for. And we ask all these prayers in your most truthful name. Amen.
Thank you so much. All right, you may be seated. At this time, we would like to introduce any visiting Rotarians or guests of Rotarians. If you're part of the program today, you don't need to stand yet. I think we do have a visiting Rotarian.
Hi, I'm Bobby Robinson. I'm with Sunrise Rotary of Gainesville, so I recognize a few familiar faces. Good to see everyone. And I'm also here in support of the Child Advocacy Center. Thank you.
Welcome, Bobby. We have any other guests or visiting Rotarians? Okay, thank you, Dawn. All right, well, it's that time where we need to recognize Rotarians with birthdays. And as you may have already seen, we have our new tradition of cake. We've gone to carrot cake because I found that when I got the plain cake, I was taking it with me. And when I got the carrot cake, it's just cleaning up the box. So obviously this is a group that appreciates carrot cake. So, oh, chocolate, okay. So birthdays. come on up, and I think we're now back to paying the dollar. $1. Okay, I'm going to go through them quickly. Ken Cornell, Laurie Vidal, Guy Jopling, George Chip Emmel, Sam Holloway, Helen Gilstrom, John Kelly, Jeannie Singer, Kevin Thorpe, Sam Goforth, Dalton Birch, Baker, sorry, Parker Lawrence, Kirk Smith, Sarah Owen, Maureen Tartaglione, Don Bugos, and Phil Waite. Happy birthday, Rotarians. We're going to sing happy birthday.
No joke, I promise. We're going to sing happy birthday, and we want you to be robust and joyful and exuberant. Okay, ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, fellow Rotarians. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you all so much. All right, we're going to go right into announcements. We've got a busy and important program today. Scott Winsler, if you want to come forward, you're going to talk about business in ethics.
Good afternoon. Before I talk about business and ethics, I heard about a new company that's made a new product that's a coffin company, and they've developed a glass coffin. But the thing is, we don't know if it's going to take off, it's going to be successful or not. Remains to be seen. On that note,
please see Pete after the meeting.
On that note, I really want to encourage you. This is the last Tuesday before the deadline for submitting nominations for the Ethics and Business Award for 2022. Anyone can make a nomination. You do not have to be a Rotarian. You do not have to be a member of this club, but we do need and want nominations. Last year, we had a plethora of really good candidates. We're trying to encourage people who nominated those candidates last year to re-nominate again this year. But I'm just encouraging each and every one of you, go to DACDB, download the form. If you can't find one or if it's too confusing, just email me and I'll send you a form. Friday is the deadline. Is a prestigious honor that we award to a worthy business person in our community. So please consider making a nomination to the Ethics and Business Award. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Scott. TJ, you've got a fellowship to tell us about?
Number of things coming up. 3 volunteer opportunities, actually. One is this Saturday from 9 a.m. to about 10 a.m. That's at the Evergreen Cemetery in Southeast Gainesville. We'll be putting flags on the graves of veterans out there. So far, we have 0 people who have signed up, so we need a few more than 0 to go out there and help with that. Next Wednesday, we'll be doing the Catholic Charities backpacks again, like we do every month. And then on Thursday, we'll actually be helping at the unveiling of their of Evergreen Cemetery's new Veterans Memorial. So if we can get folks to sign up for that as well. Those 3 things, we have 0 people who have signed up, so we need more. And then on the 15th, we're going to be doing a wine tasting at Supret, which is where Civilization used to be, just south of 16th Avenue and west of Main Street. So if you're interested in coming to that, it's $25 for 4 pours, and we're hoping to see a bunch of folks at that. So thank you.
Thank you very much, TJ. Thanks for putting all these great initiatives together for us. And then Ryan Thompson wants to talk with us today about rebuilding together.
Thank you, Tom. We have a date with Rebuilding Together on November 13th, not this Saturday, but the following. It's the same weekend as the Sanford game. I apologize. That's the challenge of scheduling an event during the fall. But it will be from 8 to 2. You don't need any skills or tools. They are, having Rebuilding Together is an organization that assists low-income families with home improvement projects to allow them to stay in their homes. It's something that we've supported for years. It's really special to get out there, work side by side with those homeowners, and they're so appreciative. So if you can join us November 13th, we'd love to see you out. I'll send out more details, still working out the site and things of that nature, but November 13th. Thank you. Where are we meeting? That's still to be determined. They have a few sites for us and we're working on narrowing that down. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ryan. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the program over to President David Gracie.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. Boy, I am excited to see this turnout. Candidly, in light of the chamber luncheon that was going on today, Jay and I were talking about this, hoping we'd get a turnout like we did get. But you know, our programs director, Eric Godet, is actually at the chamber event introducing Dr. Fox. So I know that probably pulled a few others away. But again, thank you everyone for being here. This is great to see this kind of turnout for such an important meeting. I've got just a couple of important announcements I want to make, and then we'll get going with what's going to be a wonderful, wonderful program. The first one is Richard Allen, again, asked me to remind everyone about our upcoming international auction. That's benefiting Sustainable Cambodia. It's on November 30th. Okay, so folks, what we're asking you to do is just kind of put some feelers out there for some auction items and consider donating one yourself. Also this weekend, we've got our District 6970 Flamingo Celebration and Vibrant Club Seminar. This will be the last time you hear me announce this, but I know Greg Young and some other folks, I think Deborah, we got a number of folks that are trying to make some carpool plans to get over there. So again, it's at the St. Augustine World Golf Village. So try to make that. We really want to have a good showing there. Finally, I was reading the paper yesterday and kind of just scanning the paper, and I was glad to see our fellow Rotarian Stephanie Bales received a really nice accolade. I know Jay said he saw this too, but Stephanie, as the executive director and president of the Cade Museum, was recognized by a group called Blue Loop, which I'm not really familiar with, but anyway, it's a pretty important industry accolade, as I want to make sure I get this exactly right. She was named one of the top museum influencers for 2021. So congratulations, Stephanie. I don't think Stephanie is here. I was looking for her earlier, but I know we got a couple of Cade Museum folks back. Jenna and Phil are both back there. So pass our congratulations along to Stephanie. Okay, folks. Our first speaker is going to be the Feastmaster. I say that carefully because selecting the Feastmaster was something that we did with a lot of care and deliberation also. Jay, I'll just give you a little background. Jay's actually a Rotarian, a member of this club since 1994. Parker Lawrence was his sponsor, and before that, he was a member of a Rotary club in Miami called the Downtown Miami Rotary Club. I want to just take a minute here because a lot of us maybe don't know Jay as well as I do, but he's actually a native of Lund, Sweden. Jay graduated from UF with a degree in engineering, and he moved back down to Miami where he was a member of that club. And then upon returning here, he's joined our club. And I'll tell you, Jay is involved in a lot of other community organizations that he does a lot of help. He cares a lot about this community. And instead of listing those, I'll just tell you that Jay and I were riding out to Hatchet Creek a couple of weeks ago, and we just had a good conversation about what Gainesville is and how it's really a unique place, that you've got a lot of business growth and development here, but a lot of folks that really care about what's going on in Gainesville. And that's what the Wild Game Feast is about, is selecting a charity or a number of projects that are going to have a significant impact on Gainesville and allow us to help them along. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Jay to come up and begin our program.
Thank you, David. I think I died. That was a pretty nice introduction. So I'm going to see if I can get this going here. There we go. So I am so excited to be here today talking about the Wild Game Feast. I mean, last year we didn't have one. 2022 is just going to be awesome. And I will be the 37th Feastmaster. And it's an honor. It really is to have this opportunity to step up is just amazing. And so I really appreciate the opportunity. This is a long club tradition and a huge community event. Lots of people show up. We've had 1,500 to 2,000 people show up routinely at the event. It's a collaboration between all the Rotary clubs in Gainesville. And each year, we help fund a long-term impact project that benefits this community. And this year is no exception. All the funds that were raised will benefit Alachua County directly. So we're going to talk about the pink elephant in the room, COVID. So obviously COVID is a concern, but the good news is that you look at the capacity sports events that we've had, you look at the trends, it seems hopefully we're on the other side of this situation. So a large percentage of the population is vaccinated. This is going to be an outside event. It's ideal. It's perfect for doing this. And everybody is tired of 2D. I mean, I am not Zooming anymore. This will not be a Zoom event. I can guarantee you that. And of course, there was no feast in 2021. And so everybody I've talked to is both excited and very optimistic about how this feast is going to go. Here's past Feastmasters. I mean, I'm honored to join that group of people that have done this in the past. And I want to especially highlight Colleen Keene, who was the Feastmaster last year. And Colleen, it just was not meant to be, but she was awesome. And I want to give her a big round of applause for everything that she did last year. Thank you, Colleen. She made my job easy. That's what I'll tell you. So going to give you a little bit of Wild Game history here. Why was the first Wild Game Feast organized? Well, it was the idea of Lewis Rogers, and he wanted to raise money for construction of the UF Rotary Scholarship House. And so, of course, there was that, and there was also the opportunity to have fellowship, which as Rotarians, we love fellowships. So who were the founders? Well, you see the list of Rotarians here. You probably recognize a lot of those names. Some of them are no longer members, but some of them still are. So when was it first held? 1985. Now, to give you some context of 1985, I was 23 years old. I just graduated from the University of Florida, starting my engineering career down in Miami as David. I probably had a mullet. And looking at me today, yeah. So obviously there's been some changes over the years, and here we are down the road. It's always been held at the Hatchet Creek. Bob Kelly was the first Feastmaster, and for that first feast, 400 people attended. And people is probably not a good description because it was all guys, and thank God that that has changed. So I want to give a round of applause that it's no longer an all-male club. Yeah. But here you can tell the feast. So we have there was an old cracker house that was out at the Hatchet Creek site that was later removed. You can see this is the first feast. They're cooking up the food, fellowship. There it is. And so obviously there's been a lot of changes to the site over the years and to the feast as a whole. It's evolved over the years. You know, all those efforts that have been taking place out there, lots of work parties, all the people have done so much to improve that site. Buildings have been built, rebuilt, repurposed, replaced. And right now there's a project going on. We're building some storage, another storage area for the Buddy Crevasse pavilions. We're gonna go through some quick pictures here. This is what you do at a work party. You got a bunch of people that are doing the supervising. And then you got other people that are doing supervising and all watching what's going on. But in the end, things happen. And so that project right there was one of the first projects out there. They realized we needed a bathroom out there. So that was one of the first projects that came along. It's been upgraded since then. You'll see Rotarians doing things like this up in the air. And that is the Buddy Crevasse Pavilion, which was started back in the 1990s. And it's been expanded, looks about like that today and continues to be expanded. This is Dan Boyd's Saloon right here. Dandy Dan's Saloon, it was called. Now, I would say that that is really probably been improved because it looks like that today. So we've certainly had an improvement there. Again, projects improving the site. We built a stage. We enclosed it so that we could have them not get caught in the rain. We have the veggie shack. And that was the original site where the food was cooked, but it's now our beer barn and also where we take the tickets. And there's our chili shack. So Pavilion is one of the later projects that we just did. We finished that in 2015. And you can tell the feast has come a long way since the beginning of time. Now let's look at all the people that have, all the organizations and incredible organizations that have benefited from this thing over the years, from the Wild Game Feast over the years. In total, as an organization, we've contributed over $2.5 million to the local community, and all these people and all these organizations and our county has benefited as a result. So why do we do it? Well, we're Rotarians and we recognize there's a gap, and we figure out how are we going to fill that gap? How are we going to help it? So this year, to fill the gap, we've selected 3 recipients to receive the funds from the Wild Game Feast. And why have we selected 3? Well, it's kind of going back to the elephant of the room, right? We've got COVID, which is something that we think is behind us. We don't know exactly what the future is going to look like. Right now, it looks very rosy. From my perspective, we're going to have an incredible feast. We're going to meet all of our goals. And our challenge and our mission is to make sure that we fund all 3 of these organizations that we've selected to receive the funding this year. And they are the Gainesville Opportunity Center, the UF Mobile Outreach Clinic, and the Child Advocacy Center. And so what we're going to do, we're going to have each director or a person representing each one of these organizations come up. We're going to have Brett Buell, who is a Rotarian. He's a member in the Downtown Club. He's the director of the Gainesville Opportunity Center, and he's going to come up and give us a quick introduction to the Gainesville Opportunity Center and what they do and what wonderful people they are. So come on up, Brett.
All right, well, thank you for having us here. Just humbled that, thank you for having us here. We're just humbled that you guys chose our organization to benefit this year. Let's see here. We're asking for funds to build a commercial kitchen for our center. So let me tell you what that's going to do for us. The Gainesville Opportunity Center helps adults with chronic mental illness get back into the community. We follow recovery through work model. Why? Because work matters. What we do every day matters. And for so many people that have chronic mental illness that are living at poverty level, they don't have that in their lives. So they get to come to the GOC, participate in our work day. Through that, they build self-esteem. The I can't do that turns into, look what I just did. I did that. I helped somebody. All the community stuff, all the community that Rotarians feel when we get out and help somebody, GOC members feel when they get out and help one another. It's an incredible thing that they're doing to empower each other. Our members are gaining confidence, and when they gain confidence, we put them back out in the community. We help them get jobs, and then we help support them in our jobs. So clubhouses were founded with the belief that people with chronic mental illness can and want to do things for themselves. The movement actually started in New York City with people getting let out of psychiatric hospitals. They had no support system, so they started depending on each other. So they put a little center together, and then they needed a phone, and then they needed somebody to answer the phone, and then they needed to take messages, they needed to make coffee, and they needed somebody to clean. And sooner or later, all these people are doing all these jobs, they're supporting each other, and the magic of the movement started. So jobs and responsibilities, like I said, help create your purpose in life. You know, you go to school, you major in something, you do all these things, and that is part of your identity. At the GOC, our members are working side by side with us, and the work that they do at the GOC helps give them identity and purpose. One of the things, if you look at the homeless population, how many people that are homeless would you say probably have chronic mental illness? Probably all of them, pretty much all of them. People are in jail. Currently, there's about 50% of the Alachua County inmates are receiving psychiatric meds while they're in jail. It costs $40,000 a year to keep somebody in jail. It costs $10,000 for 3 days in a Baker Act. And that's all, you know, that the Baker Act's great. It might save their life, but what happens next? How do we keep them from going back? How do we keep not costing the taxpayer and making lives better? Well, there's things like the Gainesville Opportunity Center that are doing that. One of the most empowering things that we have is that our members, we need our members to run our program. They help us make lunch. They help us do our paperwork. They help us with everything. So for the first time in so many people's lives, we can look them in the eye and say, I need you. And to somebody that's been homeless for 10 years, somebody that's been in jail, somebody that's been hospitalized, somebody that has cost their parents a lot of money or their family a lot of money, when was the last time they felt needed? And we create that at the GOC. And that is the thing that helps propel people forward and helps move them forward. We have employment partnerships. We have one with Culver's. We have one with Alachua County. We actually get to choose who goes into the job. And then we go on site with them and work with them until they're comfortable working the job themselves. And then they're able to do it on their own. Some of the people working there, Joe Vaughn, the guy with the gloves, he's 28 years old. It's the first job he'd ever worked in his life. Keon is 23 years old. He's lived in a group home since he was 5 years old. He still lives in a group home. His goal is to get out of that group home. Joanna, who's working for Alachua County, hadn't worked since 1998. We have an Air Force veteran who's a college graduate who hasn't worked since 2001. He's working again. We have another person at Culver's who was homeless and living at Grace Marketplace for 5 years. And now he's housed and working and being productive again. We're turning lives around a little at a time. At the GOC, we need a kitchen. And this is where we hope Rotary is going to come in. We make lunch for about 30 people a day. We anticipate growth. We want to double our size. We want to triple our size so that our impact isn't just helping a few people, that is helping a great amount of people. We have a pretty simple model, but it really works. We need this commercial kitchen in order to move forward. It also provides job training and helps us move people along. So let's see, wrong button, oops. So, and that's pretty much it. Before I go on, I do want to thank several of the people in this room who've come out and helped the GOC in the past. Greg Young and TJ and a group came out and helped us build a garden in January. And now our members grow food in that garden. It gives more work, more purpose, more things, more healthy things to eat, more things that we're growing in our kitchen. There's a number of people in this audience that have helped us in many other ways. And I just want to say thank you very much. And in summary, I want to say that everybody wants to lead a meaningful and productive life. Some people just need a little bit more support than each other. And if we can just shift our model around a little bit instead of penalizing people and giving them the support, it's going to cost us less as taxpayers and as a community. And it's going to make lives better. It's going to enrich lives. And that's what we're doing at the Gainesville Opportunity Center. I'm so humbled and proud that Rotary has chosen us to be one of the 3 projects. And I just want to say thank you all for your support and for your awareness of some of the solutions that exist out there to help people get a second chance. Thank you very much.
Amazing people doing amazing things. Thank you, Brett. Really exciting and amazing. Michelle Knoll is a nurse practitioner, and she works with the University of Florida Mobile Outreach Clinic, and she's going to come up and give us a little talk about what that's all about. So please welcome her.
See that there's not many short people in the Rotary Club. I'm just delighted and really honored to be here today to speak to you all on behalf of the place where I've had the good fortune of working for the last 6 years, which is the University of Florida Mobile Outreach Clinic. I'm going to tell you a little bit today about the myriad ways we're involved in the community and some of the work that we're doing, and then just how beneficial we believe the project that we're asking you to fund will help the greater Gainesville community. So I so much appreciated the origin story of the Wild Game Feast, and we also want to share our origin story, which begins with this map and begins with somebody in this room. Dr. Nancy Hart is our founding medical director, and she spent a lot of time and work on these hotspot maps in the greater Gainesville area, maps that essentially identified what are the parts of Gainesville and Alachua County that are experiencing the highest rates of health disparities. In this case, the highest rates of low birth weight births, Medicaid births, and teen pregnancy. And so a lot of the work that she did, over a decade ago informed the places that our mobile clinic would go. So a lot of the work that she did with these maps actually demonstrated where are the places that people are just simply not able to access care. You can see from this map that really hot spot over on the far left is a high rates of teen pregnancy, Medicaid births, and low birth weight. And then the clinic that most of those people would receive care from is the Alachua County Health Department, where they had to take 2 separate bus transits over to get to that area. So this is simply not practical. And Dr. Hart understood that there may be neighborhoods in Gainesville where we need to bring our services directly to them. And that is how the Mobile Outreach Clinic got its start. And that has really informed our work ever since then. We no longer serve that particular area, because there's now actually a satellite clinic for the Alachua County Health Department out in that neighborhood. But that idea, that hotspot mapping, that identification of the parts of town that need our services the most is what continues to inform the places that we serve and the current neighborhoods that we serve. So here you can see an original picture of the bus as well as some of the interior of the bus. We do a lot with a little, and you can see here that this is, it looks like a traditional medical clinic inside the bus. We have 2 exam rooms, we have a laboratory station, we have a little counseling space, and we're able to actually see usually between 15 and 20 patients a day. Who are the people we serve? We serve the working poor. We serve overwhelmingly people without health insurance who would be otherwise unable to access medical care in our community. We serve overwhelmingly racial and ethnic minorities and people who fall below the federal poverty limit. I want to really emphasize we're not simply a Band-Aid. We are the comprehensive and robust primary care provider for close to 2,000 people without health insurance locally. So we really provide, comprehensive primary care. We provide robust reproductive health care, which is near and dear to my own heart. And we provide chronic disease management for people. We help them access their medications and their lab tests in an affordable way to help keep them healthy, active in the community, and out of the hospital system. This is a picture of what our bus looks like now. We've had some extensive renovations in the last couple of years. Our clinic is actually on a retrofitted Bluebird bus. So this is something that we actually drive to each of our locations. Right now we have 4 identified neighborhoods in the Gainesville area, most of which are in the east side of Gainesville. And we establish a long-term and trusting relationship with each of those neighborhoods. So each Tuesday we're in a particular place, each Wednesday we're in a particular place, et cetera, et cetera. So those neighborhoods really come to know us, to expect that we're there, and to rely on our services. And in addition to the comprehensive primary care services I mentioned, we have what we consider a small army of undergraduate students. These are people who are going to be becoming physicians, physician assistants, nurses, nurse practitioners who volunteer for a long period of time, who are extensively trained and who provide us with services where they actually take on a panel of patients and help connect those patients to resources in the local area. So we're unique in that we assess patients for their social determinants of health. These are the ostensibly non-medical things that may affect a person's health, like their access to food, their access to housing and things like that. We actually screen our patients for those things. And then we have this small army of students who work with the patients and help connect them to resources when they have these quote unquote non-medical needs. This is our mission and vision. And I really want to highlight our vision here because we are aiming to be so much more than our clinic. And that's where this project with the Rotary Club will be so valuable. We are, for lack of a better term, we're bursting at the seams. We have so many patients to see, and we're getting involved in so many things beyond simply our clinic. We're working on being able to train community health workers and have them have more of a presence in our community. We have a chronic disease self-management course. We're having telehealth visits to be even more flexible in meeting the needs of our patient. And Dr. Harrell, our medical director, has actually developed a street medicine program. And so he's actually taking small groups of medical students to the unsheltered homeless, so people not staying at a particular shelter here in town, but rather living, on the streets. He's actually providing medical care to those patients directly where they are and helping to keep them healthy and out of the hospital. And so our bus, requires a lot of logistical things. It requires a driver with a CDL license. It requires complex maintenance and a lot of gas. And so when we bring our bus somewhere, it's something to behold. And we are wanting to provide a lot of services that will require a more flexible means of transportation. And that's where this very important project with the Rotary Club comes in. So if we are able to purchase this van, we'll be able to bring a lot of our services to weekend health fairs, to vaccine clinics that we're involved in, to do harm reduction supply distribution locally, to do a lot of the street medicine program that I mentioned that Dr. Harrell's involved in. Home visiting is something that we'd really like to expand on. And so in other words, this is just going to be able to allow us to be even more flexible to meet the needs of our patients and to really expand our reach into our community. This is what we would expect to be able to accomplish should we be able to purchase this van. This van will not be a replacement to the bus. The bus is a very permanent part of our program. We still bring it to our daily clinic sites, but this van will allow us to do evening fairs, will allow us to do weekend health fairs, again, vaccine events. We do a lot of back to school events, helping kids get their school physicals. And so it will just give us flexibility to be able to do a lot more of these kind of additional projects that we're looking at. This is an overview of what we expect that program to cost. And this is what we think the van will look like. We'd love to advertise the Rotary Club on the side should we be able to purchase this. So again, in short, we do a lot with a little. We're simply bursting at the seams with excitement and with patience and with people to serve locally. And we are very, very grateful for the opportunity to potentially be a recipient of this grant. Thank you.
So I'll just say amazing once again, and then passionate on top of it. I mean, you can just tell the passion just pouring out of these organizations and what they do. And so with that passion, we're going to introduce our next project, which is another, there we go. I'm sorry. Sherry Kitchens is the president and CEO of the Child Advocacy Center. So I'd like for her to come up and tell us her story.
Thank you so short, sorry. Thank you all so much for this opportunity to be with you here today and for the opportunity to partner with you on this project. The Child Advocacy Center, there we go. This is the goal, is to make sure that children who are abused in our community have a safe, child-friendly place to go when there are child abuse allegations. We have over 5,000 children in our community are reported to be abused each year. And so it hasn't been, it's only been about 21 years that our community has had a child advocacy center where children can go instead of having to go to the police department, to Department of Children and Families, to go all over town to be interviewed about what happened to them. Rod and Dee Dee Smith, pillars of our community, brought the Child Advocacy Center here in 1998. And actually, Judy and Davis Rembert gave us our first borrowed space, of which we sort of took advantage. We stayed there for 8 years with their generosity before we really found a place of our own. In 2017, we purchased our own building on East University Avenue. And so we finally have a home of our own. When I started at the Child Advocacy Center in 2005, we were serving about 250 children a year. And you'll see through the presentation that we've certainly increased, and we need the help of the Rotarians again to help us renovate some space so that we can continue serving children. And through our pandemic, we have even more children that need our help. So child advocacy centers, there are about 900 around the United States. There are 27 here in Florida. Our advocacy center has been providing services since 1999, and we provide a variety of services with the collaboration of community organizations. We work closely with the University of Florida Child Protection Team for medical exams. We work closely with law enforcement, Department of Children and Families as well for investigations. We partner with Meridian for some of the mental health care of parents who need assistance and support, and Partnership for Strong Families that helps with privatized foster care and providing some additional services. The Guardian Ad Litem program always comes up in our presentations, and they are amazing. They're an amazing partner of ours, and we couldn't do our work without them. Our agency provides a multidisciplinary team response when there is a child abuse allegation. We make sure to pull together all of those professionals that need the information from the children so that children don't have to be traumatized over and over again by being interviewed by all the adult providers that need the information from them. We also provide forensic interviews so that children don't have to be interviewed at the police station or the sheriff's office. We do that through a closed circuit television. We have a child-friendly space where a child is interviewed by one of my staff that is trained in child forensic interviewing, and the team of professionals that need the information from that child are in a room next door. We also record those for any kind of criminal cases that the information is needed for. We provide advocacy and case management, all those food, clothing, housing, shelter needs that families have. And we also provide therapy. All of these services are provided to families at no cost and for as long as they need them. So last year in 2020, we served 1,895 children. When I talk about the children that we serve, we're serving children who've been physically abused, sexually abused, those who have been mentally injured, those that are exposed to substance abuse, children that have been trafficked or exposed to child pornography. So our renovation project that we are hoping to partner with Rotary on is we have been operating in a 6,000 square foot space in our building. We own Suite A and Suite B. Suite B up until recently had been rented out, so for some income, and now we are, just as Michelle mentioned, we are busting at the seams also and need some additional space. So we've taken over Suite B, which is a 1,300 square foot area, and we are hoping to have 2 therapy rooms, develop a clothing closet. We have a clothing closet, but currently it's in a hallway. But we have lots of donations that we want to make sure that children can get, but we just need some capacity. We are providing an additional waiting area, upgrading a bathroom, and we are having a workspace for volunteers and our development team. this is a space that we are looking to upgrade. I guess you guys would say that it probably needs a little help. It needs a little facelift. This is our clothing closet right now on the left-hand side, and have completely run out of room. And this is the space for our volunteers, our development staff, to help increase capacity as well. We have lots and lots of volunteers. We just need a space for them to help us. This is the budget for our project. The total project is $67,510. We are hoping to partner with Rotary and as well as some other private donors. So just so that you guys have a better idea, we've already received $6,500 for some equipment and some furniture. And we are already talking with some additional private donors to make sure that we can complete the project. And we want to thank you, Rotary Club of Gainesville. We are so grateful to have the opportunity to get to know you guys better, to work with you. We want to make sure that we put out press releases. We want to have everything about this project have your name on it. And we are planning to be finished with this project in April and May of 2020. And finally, we want to help with the Wild Game Feast. We want to come. We want to bring our volunteers. We just had our fundraiser for our operational expenses at the center recently. We had 85 volunteers over the course of 3 days. We want to bring our volunteer power to help you and your volunteer power to make this the best Wild Game Feast ever. And we just want to thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you.
All righty. So thank you so much. Obviously, there's so much to say about these things, and it's hard to deliver the message in a short period of time. But here to deliver, well, let's see what happened to the presentation. Ah, there it is. So we're going to bring up Jason Shank. He's going to tell us a little bit about the opportunity to help.
Okay. Everybody hear me? All right. Thank you very much. Great presentations. It's going to be a super exciting year. Just being involved with such a great leadership team here and being part of the Wild Game Feast for multiple years. It's just every time it rolls around fun. And I know everybody in this room is missing it. So this is a big year for us to really give back and to give back to 3 great recipients this year. So on your table, the sponsorship levels are right there. What we're asking for this year is really pretty simple. We would like to ask for all of our current sponsors to please renew their sponsorship as soon as possible. This is going to be a year that we really need to gauge kind of where we're going to land. Every year we know roughly where we're going to be. This is going to be kind of a unique year. So without our sponsors, we would not be able to give back to the community. That is a massive revenue source for us to make this happen and give back. So I'd like to recognize some of our sponsors from last year very briefly. I know on time, but some of our top sponsors from last year, the Cousins family again came on with our raffle for this year. So thank you very much. And for time, I will roll through this fairly quickly, but Assured Partners, CHW, Community Foundation of North Central Florida, Cox Communications, the Eubank family, our first renewal today. So thank you to the Eubank family for a dear sponsor. Thank you very much. So we've got some money in the bank. So we're starting off well. Hills Barbecue and Catering, Lozano Dental Care, Ulrich Construction, Eric Eubank, the Rembert family, Shear Construction, and UF Health and ViStar. So some of our top sponsors from last year. So thank you very much. Really, when I say our sponsorship committee, really everybody that's a Rotarian and our recipients that are going to be asking for raffle sales and helping out and asking for sponsorships, everybody is on the sponsorship committee. It's not done by just a few people. So what we ask is that people that you do business with, get the sponsorship levels to them and ask them to support. That's very important. So our sponsorship committee, if there's questions, you can reach directly out to me. But Matthew, I want to include Shannon Brady as well, who's done a lot of the behind the scenes, behind the curtain, Greg Young, Linda Reinhart, Grace Horvath, Ed Newmans, Chad King, and of course, Wesley Eubank kind of our sponsorship. If you're interested in jumping in with us, we'd love to have you on there. So what can you do outside of sponsorships? There's really a couple things. Ticket sales. We're going to hold that price at $75. Buy 5, get your 6th free. If it's the day of the event, it goes to 100. So that is a great revenue source for us through ticket sales. Those can be sold out and all across the community. This should be a very big event. Sell raffle tickets. If I could ask the cousins real quick, is it anywhere this year, or we're not quite sure yet? Southeast Car Agency. Got it. Did I say that wrong? That was me. Okay. So I should know that because I've done business with the cousins for many years. So Southeast Car Agency is going to do the raffle this year, and we can all really help to sell those raffle tickets. Okay. So pretty much anywhere. So that's fantastic. And then finally, between those, buying tickets, selling raffles, and asking for the sponsorship. So that's it. That's our ask. Thank you very much.
You know, everybody's itching to get out of here, so I'm gonna turn it back over to David. Thanks everybody for your attention today. Thanks to our partners. We appreciate you being here. Your passion is unbelievable. I'll turn it back over to David.
Okay, everybody, we ran over a little bit today. Thank you for hanging around and allowing me to not only thank Jay, but also thank Brett and Michelle and Sherry. Talk about 3 wonderful organizations, folks. We've got 3 impactful. I mean, look at our theme this year. Are we serving to change lives by supporting these 3 organizations? So listen to what Jason said and really get involved in the feast this year. This is going to be a special feast. And Jay, I want to thank you. I've got a 4-way test coin to commemorate your talk today, but brother, you are serving to change lives, and I've got a serve to change lives coin also for you. I want to go ahead and remind everybody the 4-way test, because Jay, you exemplified that also. Of all things we think, say, or do. Thank you, Mike. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? We're going to start saying that in unison soon. Maybe a few more weeks I'll say that, and then everybody can say it. I've got Jay, come here and read this for me, buddy. Oh boy.
I can't see anymore. I could have done that back when I was 23, back in 1985, but I can't.
Rotary Reading Safari is last 3 digits, 993. So again, thank you, Jay, and thank you, recipients. Have a great week, everybody.